I'm very happy to be here and discuss network. So greetings for our snowy country, and the spring is here. I'm representing the team of sociologists and people from public law. And we have also prepared the report on deliberative practice on Lithuania. So just shortly, a few characteristics that would define our country. So we are a single unitary country with only 60 municipalities in total, and the population is rather small. So it's quite a unitary system that we have in the country that also defines the approach of how we implement some constitution making practices and new deliberative democracy experiments in our country. So what we have here and what is important from our report that somehow defines the specificity of this small country. So at the national level, of course, we have constitution. We have to say that we are quite a young country. So a new constitution was adopted by citizens in the referendum in 1992. And so it defines the main norms, legislation norms for representative participation and direct involvement of citizens. So during the almost 3 decades, no significant initiatives have been implemented to make some changes to constitution, with some exception of some occasional referendum. So we are the country that are learning to implement these type of participatory and deliberative democracy tools into our practice. So from the legislation system, we have 2 types of referendums in our country, that is on mandatory and consultative referendums with some different tools and mechanisms. But since 1990s, we had about 14 referendum. Most of them were, majority of them were mandatory and only 2 consultative. So at the end, we have quite small and limited empirical data sets to see how these new changes and new civic initiatives are going on and being implemented in the country landscape. So finally, we have 2 scales we were discussing on. So it's national level channels to foster the civic and society participation. And also we have decided to focus on lower level participation channels. That is also important in our country. So from the national level, we see that there are some new experiments, such as the deliberative pools that are implemented only on the initial phase and used quite a lot by politicians and decision makers, and also some referendum initiatives that are also being implemented, but not very successfully. On the local level, we have a few initiatives that are going on. So it's on participatory budgeting, but right now we have around 7 or 8 municipalities that are trying to define the mechanism of participatory budgeting out of 60. And also some sectoral municipal councils and boards that are more or less working as advisory boards to local authorities. So we have to define and to conclude the country case of Lithuania, saying that there are so many institutional and legislation barriers from one hand that are somehow delimit the active citizen involvement. And also we can say that there is quite a strong hand of top-down policy approach in general to foster and to enable different citizen experiments and social innovations. So we hope that in the next decade, the country and the society would be more open to this kind of social experiments. Thanks a lot.